Let that party begin, boys. How you guys doing over on Spotify and iTunes? You guys all staying safe from that COVID-19 virus, man. It's zombie apocalypse time out here.
It's Motorcycle Madhouse on Spotify and iTunes Radio.
And welcome everyone to Motorcycle Madhouse Live. How you guys doing over there in the YouTube chat room and all the other platforms that we are on? How's Spotify and iTunes? I'm telling you, man, we are growing by leaps and bounds over there. The audience share is just going nuts over on the radio. So you guys don't forget that you guys can take us with you anywhere you would like. Take us on a bike ride. You know, take us with you when you're having sex. I don't know what to tell you guys, but I know y'all freaks out there. And I'll talk about the events section later. I know everybody wants to know what the updates on a lot of the stuff I've been covering. Hopefully, you know, the Freedom Run is still going on, and I am gonna be the one that pours waters all over the titties. Okay, they told me I could. I'm gonna be doing that. And another side note, I know I was talking about the NCOM convention gonna be coming in August. I was just informed, and we'll get some information on that. It's going to be in October because the Indy 500 was rescheduled for that weekend. So again, they bump the bikers out of their spot. But today we have a hell of an interview, and this is an interview I'm actually looking forward to. Because everybody knows I deal with, on a daily basis, the haters and the idiots that spew stuff like a Mr. Wizard and his apprentices, or you got these damn cop stations that are always putting out this stuff that just steams me to death. Steams me. So we got a representative from NCOM that's going to come on, answer the questions, and no, it's not a softball type of interview. No, we get deep into everything. I know you're going to like them. These are the type of guys, the old timers, the graybeards, and specifically the guests I'm going to, introduce. It's one of them things where, you sit down, you shut up. When these type of people talk, you shut up and listen. It's just, I'm like a little kid. It's like, okay, what do you got to say? But anyway, let's talk about some of the misconceptions that we're going to get into today. A lot of it has to do with that tax crap that everybody on those stations push, that, hey, if you want to become a part of NCOM, you got to pay them a tax. It's the one percenters who are making the damn money off the whole thing. It's a big scam, blah, 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 blah. You know how Leo pushes that stuff. So without further ado and getting rid of my voice, let's go to our very special guest today, Boar, one percenter. How you doing, Boar?
I am doing fine.
Rock on, my man. You staying safe through all this stuff we're going on right now?
I am in Louisiana, hunkered down at the Black Sheep Clubhouse, enjoying life.
Rock on. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself so the audience knows who I'm talking to, all that good stuff?
Yes, I'm Boar. I'm a proud member of the Sons of Silence. I've been a member for 46 years. I've been on the INCOM board for over 10 years. And I have gotten involved in legislative
difficulties right now. You there, Boar? That looks like I lost him. Let me redial him real quick up here, guys. Technical problems, let me tell you. Technical problems. Here we go again. How's everybody doing out in those chat rooms, man?
Are you there?
Yeah, I lost you, man. You like disconnected on me. You like vanished. But go ahead.
Wow, I got good arrows.
Hey, man, there's gremlins all over nowadays.
What did I throw out at?
You were talking about who you were and all that good stuff.
Did I get it through?
Yeah, you got it through that you're a member of the Sons of Silence, you were on the board and all that good stuff.
Okay.
So go ahead, man.
And I would say when it comes to this kind of stuff, I would be the expert because I am there. I don't read about it. I'm in the front line.
Rock and roll. Let me get into our first question that people need to know. When was NCOM founded, and who were the principal persons involved in the organization?
Well, this meeting we're going to put together in October, or a convention, it'll be the 35th year. A man by the name of Ron Roloff got with Richard Lester, and they decided that if they got behind the bikers, that we'd get behind them, and they could help us, and we'd help them.
Rock and roll. Now, you're talking Richard Lester. Is that the AIM guy and stuff?
Yes.
Okay. And what's AIM? Because a lot of people see that, and, they don't know what that is.
AIM is the lawyers of Richards that take on motorcycle cases.
Okay.
He's an injury lawyer.
Rock on. And he's been involved in the organization since its founding?
Yeah, he is the founder.
Okay, cool. Rock on. So that's how you guys know it got started and stuff. One question I do know that you're real knowledgeable about, a man I hold in high regard and consider one of the pioneers of trying to get clubs together to fight for clubs right, is J.R. Reed. And of course, he was Sons of Silence. Can you give the audience a background on J.R. and his goals for NCOM?
Well, J.R. was a very unique man. And one thing he always talked to his club about was that the enemy wasn't another club. The enemy was the police and having the government shoving us around. Mm-hmm. And he got together at INCOM with a lot of different clubs. And one of his principal people that he worked with was Smitty, who was an outlaw. At that time, he was out of Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody.
And
go ahead.
And they would get together, and they decided a peaceful way of doing this would be the best way.
Mm-hmm. Right. And
I got involved.
Go ahead.
In it, not for anything other than I was a thug that went with Junior.
Mm-hmm.
And that because a lot of people did not understand his concept, and they all wanted to see his angle, what he was going to gain by doing this.
Right. Now, this started back in early 80s, late 70s, right?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to give a timeline for everybody. And those weren't the best times back then. Yeah.
No. And that's why I went along. Junior was a small man in stature, but he was a mountain amongst men.
Mm-hmm. That he was. He left a big impression on a lot of us. Your generation actually taught my generation, and I think we dropped the ball when it come to teaching the next one, but your generation is what really, set the standards as far as bikers are concerned. Everybody looked up to you guys. Everybody wanted to be you guys. And that's one of the reasons why I said at the beginning of the show was, these are the type of guys you just sit down and shut up and listen to. And, JR was one of them type of guys. My God, I would give my left arm to be able to, talk to him because, everybody knows JR Reed and Taco Bowman were, my heroes and stuff. But, being able to talk to somebody that was right there with JR, it's just, a pleasure for me. And one that's been with NCOM for as long as you have been.
Well, like I say, at first I wasn't. I went along to make sure Junior was safe.
Mm-hmm.
But the more I was there, the more I could see the reason we were there.
Right. Right.
And when he was on his deathbed, he took me into his room and told me that I had the wrong temperament, I wasn't the right man for the job, and that I'd have to learn that it's a lot easier to talk to somebody first before you fought with them.
Right.
And he, to being around Junior, he had a crooked finger, and he would pound that in your chest to get his point through. And I got it.
He poked his finger in your chest. Oh, that, you know what? And I bet that carried a long, even from there, he'd come back and haunt you or something, wouldn't he?
Yes, he told me if I didn't do this job that and do it right, that he would haunt me the rest of my life, and the man would have done it.
Right. I believe you. When NCOM first started, how bad was Leo going after bikers? How bad was the profiling? I think I wanted to get to.
Well, the profiling was completely different. They weren't organized themselves, and they did not work together. The different states didn't work together. A lot of things didn't work together.
Mm-hmm.
But if they couldn't get you clean, they would plant shit in your saddlebags. They would do a lot of backward, dirty shit.
Mm-hmm. Man, so it was pretty bad back then.
But on the same point, there was a lot of the cops that actually were thankful for income and for what Junior was doing. For there for a while, it lightened up on us a bunch, and until that mode of police went away, and we got those jackals we have now.
Mm-hmm. Right. NCOM is just one of the organizations, and then there's NCOC, then you got MPP, you got MRF. Many people get confused on what each organization does for the motorcycle scene. Can you tell everyone what the difference is between all the organizations? Because I even get them confused.
Well, I tell you what, with all the initials, I get them confused myself.
I don't feel bad then.
What Income does is we have like an umbrella, and in that, under our umbrella, we have Christian Unity, we have a veterans organization, we have Women in Motorcycling, and then we have the Confederation of Clubs. NCOC basically was formed after Waco because we didn't have first responders. And some of the men took that very seriously and actually have done a lot of good for passing different profiling bills. Double D up in Washington State has, now we have 4 states that have bills, anti-profiling bills. MRF, actually, they have a office in Washington, D.C., and they go and lobby to our congressmen and to our senators. And since in the last 6 years, we've all got together and decided to work together and make all our efforts go in one direction, and it's been very successful.
Mm-hmm. Now, go ahead.
The profiling thing that's put on, that is the National Council of Clubs. That's part of what they do.
Oh, okay. Now, how's ABATE fit into everything?
Well, ABATE is a A-Bait is in darn near every state. And A-Bait has been working. They've been the guys who've been in the trenches all this time, and for helmet laws, for all kinds of different things, and they actually help every organization that I know of, and we help them. We try to help them back.
Rock on. So you work with all these different types of organization on the one goal, promoting a good image of motorcycle clubs, biker rights, the whole 9 yards.
Yes.
Rock on.
I've been lucky enough to go to Bikers on the Beltway, and I don't know if they're going to do it this year with this damn virus.
Mm-hmm.
But it's to the point now to where some of the senators actually look forward to sitting down and talking with me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. You know, I want to move us into a different direction here, and one that I think irritates the hell out of me, like I talked about at the beginning of the show. There's a big misconception, I believe, in the motorcycle scene regarding NCOM. That misconception is people have to pay a street tax to the dominant 1%er club in order to be a part of their local chapter of the COC, or they, the 1%ers use NCOM as a means to make money or exert their power. What is NCOM's position on this?
Well, one thing NCOM does is we do not have a street tax. We do not extort money for any one group. It stays with income, and that pays for the different educating travels and this and that. And when we do it income, I'm the lucky guy that gets to go to a lot of different states. Last year, I went to 32 different states of their income meetings.
Mm-hmm.
At some of those meetings, a new club will come in and want to join income, and they will stand up and show what they want to have for a new patch and this and that. And basically, a lot of those guys, like I've heard you do, is they don't need to be in a motorcycle club. They should be part of A-Bait. They should be part of a riding club. And because their idea of why they think they need to be in a motorcycle club is not, it doesn't hold any water.
Mm-hmm. Now, you know what? Now that you bring that up, what position do you take as a 1%er? I get hell from everyone, but especially when it comes to me saying, hey, you know what? It's better to be in a riding club or a motorcycle rights type of deal, because my personal opinion is you're wasting the damn club's time if you're not ready for something like that. If you're not committed to something like that, it's just better to be in a riding club. That way you don't have to take on a commitment, the money involved, the travel, all that stuff.
And that is one of the things I agree with what I've heard you say. Mm-hmm. Because some people, I have no idea why they think they need to have a club.
Mm-hmm.
And I always used to say there's a club out there for everybody until I got to meet some of these guys and girls. And some people, they ought to just lay off the computer, because they all want to be computer tough guys.
Uh-huh.
And learn some about reality of what life is.
Right. Exactly. Because I do catch hell about that, because it seems like, well, I get comments where it seems like you're not on the MC side when you're talking about that stuff, or you're putting them down. And that's not the way I look at it. I just don't want, the club's time wasted. And I do believe personally, when you don't got somebody that's ready, especially, you're a 1%er, so you've been doing it for over 40 years. But if they're not ready to jump to that 1%er way, I believe that's, where the rats come in sometimes. So I'd just rather go to a riding club.
and that is it. It's a, you read the newspaper, and so this guy turns state's evidence against the club because they spanked him and sent him home. Well, if you're a full-grown man, you wouldn't have got that spanking.
Right. Exactly. So is that something you would recommend, is go to a riding club, put a few years in, and then hang around if you think you're ready for the next step for about another year or something, and, just check it out before you try jumping in with a patch?
Yes. I've been in my club for 46 years, and I've put at least 20,000 miles on the back of my motorcycle. And so when it comes to what kind of weather, what kind of this, what kind of that, my statement's always been there's two kind of days you go riding. One you get wet, one you don't.
I like that one. That is funny. Now, you put on about 20,000 miles each year?
That's on a bad year.
Mm-hmm.
Last year I was on both coasts representing income.
Right. Now, because I'm going to swing back to that, where how do we fight that misconception that the 1% clubs are making the money off of NCOM? And, you got this, the biggest one that craps me out is this Alliance of Law-Abiding Clubs. It's freaking cop clubs, but now they're bringing in, civilians to this type of deal. It just drives me nuts because, they're one of the, the biggest ones talking the crap.
Well, they're usually the biggest liars when it comes to reality. I've made a lot of statements to a lot of those cop clubs. At no given day did I ever decide on a weekend to put on a uniform and drive in a squad car and arrest people. And then they try to look down on me, but yet they try to be me. They'll never be me. I wish they'd just stay on their side of the street.
Right. Wasn't it JR that said you either want to be a cop or you want to be a biker, but you can't be both?
That's right.
See, I do my homework. I knew I think you told me about that before, but it just makes so much damn sense. And I talk about the line all the time, and people look at me cross-eyed, especially these new ones, where I said, it was always biker on one side, it was always cop on the other. Nobody mixed, but nowadays everybody's mixing, and I just, don't understand that.
Well, it's like the newest wave of the police, for most of them have come out of the service.
Mm-hmm.
And they were taught to look for the bad guy. Well, so when they got back here, they decided we're the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
And that misconception, I have a very good friend in Iowa who his son is a Iowa State trooper. And one day I was sitting there talking with his dad, and his son came in, and when he was a kid, I called him Mikey.
Mm.
And I said, Mikey, you've got a real good chance to straighten some of this stuff up because you were raised around me. And if you read what you're taught by your people, who I am, that is not who or what I am.
Mm-hmm.
And all he said was, well, sir, I really don't like to be called Mikey. I said, well, that's really not your choice.
And I bet he accepted that too. He accepted that answer.
And he got up and left.
One percenters, and I know NCOM, I know a lot of the local COCs do it. They have big fundraisers for the community.
Yeah.
And they never get noticed.
And the other part is every COC meeting starts with people standing up and taking their hats off and doing pledge allegiance to the flag.
Well, yeah.
And then yet the police want to call it some sort of communist plot.
Hmm. Well,
We are
one
Americans.
thing that came out, that schmuck down in why Daytona was going on, that one cop and the two agents, they actually try, and I know NCOM has to have a position on that. They tried calling club members terrorists.
Yes, domestic terrorists.
How do you fight back against something like that? I think that's ridiculous for a cop to come out and call an American that.
I think that's a terrible thing, but that is where another point that I agree with you on. It's time we start giving our side so it can get out. Except in the past, we have dealt with different people that would take what we said and highlight some of it, but we still look like we're dumbasses.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's one thing, and I know why clubs won't do it. You just see it all over the news today. How I call them the corrupt mainstream media. They take certain parts and they twist it into their opinions and stuff. And I don't blame clubs for not wanting to talk to the people like that, because they don't give both sides of the story. And I thought that's what reporting. That's why I'm into the biker news so much, is I wanted to give an outlet to clubs to get, their side of the story out. And I understand, why, it's taken a long time for the clubs to get their stuff out there, because they've been screwed up so much with the mainstream media. But again, it's these idiots that get the news out to the civilians, and the civilians are the ones who elect the representatives, and they're the ones that make the law, sit on juries. So I think that's why it's important for both sides.
Well, and that's why I think that our own community needs to be educated on voting, on looking at who they vote for, and at least getting a fair shake, because if we elect who we're up against, at least we should get a fair shake with them.
Mm-hmm. Right. Believe me, I know that. But back to NCOM again. Say, somebody, they got their club, and they actually, what's some of the questions that they're going to be asked? Because that's how do you apply, I would have to say, to be a member of NCOM?
Well, one is, what can you do for the community?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they think the only reason they're going to organize is so they can raise hell and be in the paper all the time, hey, we don't need that.
Right. It just makes it a lot, worse on the clubs. And I'm glad you brought that up, because there's another point that I talk about, and there's a lot of naysayers on this one, huge ones. They'll throw the Constitution out there and crap, but they question the protocol stuff. And I always try to say, you know what? It's not you idiots that they come after. It's the 1%ers that they come after. And it's not about control or any of that crap. It's about making sure you're doing right by the whole community, not for yourselves to make yourselves look like you're badasses and all that kind of stuff, but to do good, because they do come after you guys as the first ones, because citizens don't know the difference between patches.
Years ago, it was dealt with different. It's not like we ever worked with the police. It's nothing like that. But when there was a street that had one side or the other, it was, you take care of your side, I'll take care of mine. And clubs did that. But if somebody misbehaved, it'd be up to us to clean it back up.
Mm-hmm.
That is where when people started ratting and this and that, and when you had cops that would try to infiltrate you, all that kind of went to hell, because you couldn't expect that guy that was keeping on his side of the street to hold his word that he would leave you alone if things were good. What they would do, they would come up with with different laws and put you in jail.
Mm-hmm. Right. You know what? What was one of the, the hot, that NCOM, the profiling has been one of the hot button issues in the last couple of years. How is, again, how is the profiling, say, back in the 70s and 80s? Is it worse then or is it worse now?
I'd say it is worse now.
Mm-hmm.
Because the police don't play fair. It's like up in North Dakota with my club being in the paper, being accused of trying to burn down a rival motorcycle club's house. For Christ's sakes, it was a plastic bottle with gasoline thrown up against the side of the house. I've never seen a Molotov cocktail, only in the damn movies.
Right. And that's a story we covered, yeah.
And then their description was somebody that was dressed all blacked out driving a black vehicle. Well, every time I look at the news and you watch a standoff, all the cops are all blacked out driving black vehicles. Damn, I think they could look a little closer to themselves.
Right. Right. Do you believe that NCOM should be more forceful? Meaning that we need to get the word out, you guys, not, us as Biker News does, but has to get more into the biker community on what's going on with this profile and how bad it really is.
Well, most of the INCOM board are people from the MROs. And what we do when we get together is they bring what is going on in their states, and we see if we can help each other to pass the laws that we need to have. The NCOC, now they do more of the taking the laws that need to be changed for clubs, and they handle that like that.
Mm-hmm. What can independent bikers do, though?
As far as getting more income itself, getting more involved, we're involved with all three organizations, and we kind of the one that runs with the ball the best gets the ball.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Let's go to a big issue. I know when I was around, this was a huge issue. Motorcycle club color restrictions put in place at rallies, bars. I know, well, you would know, in Sturgis and stuff. I think the casinos, their licenses was threatened if they didn't pull that, put that restriction in. Is that still a huge issue today?
Yes. And that is part of the profiling bill. When we finally get that into place, and we get that in a lot of different states, then we can go back and change it to where that's what it's going to affect.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, that leads me into my second question, because I'm going to put both sides out there, going down that line of, questioning. Many people, and I get it all the time, would say that bar owners and rallies who put these restrictions in place is because of the threat of violence between clubs. What do you say about that type of thinking, and do you think a bar owner or rally has a legit concern about that?
Well, I think a lot of that is bullshit, because actually, if there's another organization that I don't get along with, I don't try to go belly up to the bar with them.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't like all those big. They're so worried about the big rallies being a place where people are going to be attacked. Mm-hmm. That is not the concept of why people get together. Mm-hmm. And the ones who do, there's bumps, but it's taken care of.
Right. Do you believe it's these smaller clubs or, the ones that really don't know what the hell they're doing that cause this kind of problem?
I'm saying it has to do with some of these guys who get into a club and really don't know why and think that's what it takes because one thing that has happened at the INCOM conventions for years is we actually have an opportunity to sit down with different clubs and talk about what it's going to take to eliminate that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people don't understand that clubs police themselves, too.
Well, and I'll tell you, like I've explained to a lot of different police through the years, let me handle that young man there. I'll take him home with me. I could be much more stern than you'll ever think of being.
I bet. I've seen it. Where, you're talking about these profiling bills. I know Idaho got one. Double D's been on that, as well as a lot of the MPP guys. What are they actually going to do for, not only clubs, but for regular independents and stuff? Because, independents really need to get in this fight. I feel like I talk about it all the time and not get through to anybody.
Well, there's 4 different states, and now we are gonna go back and talk more to the feds about making it a federal rule. Like I say, it's like I got one of my brothers. His favorite statement is, "How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time."
Mm-hmm.
Because right now they don't want to jump in with us without seeing some changes. I understand that. But once we get it to where we are all working together at this, we can get some of these dumb laws put back to where we're all treated like men instead of being treated like we're some sort of alien.
Mm-hmm. Now, was INCOM involved when that one guy got pulled over in Texas? He had a legit gun permit. Legit. And they still charged him.
Well, again, what INCOM was not involved in that. That would have been the NCOC.
There's the difference. Okay.
Yes. I mean, that they're the advocates that take care of what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So they would got involved in it. I know Double D and MPP, I seen it all the time. Double D, man, he seems like he works his butt off, man.
I'm going to tell you what, that is one of the hardest working young men in this world. I'm very proud to call him my friend, and we talk all the time on the phone.
That is awesome, man. It really is. One question from me. Biker news is a relatively new industry, meaning organizations like Insane Throttle are getting the news to the, bikers specifically. What are your thoughts on giving both sides of the story? Because, and I ask this because we get feedback from clubs when a story is covered. Some feel that we are attacking clubs. Isn't it better to get both sides covered in order for those hearing the story to form their own opinions? Because personally, I feel it's better to cover both sides in order to lend credibility to motorcycle clubs. Because if you go out there on the, the conspiracy theory kicks, like a lot of these hardcore supporters, and it's mostly the supporters that do this kind of stuff, don't you think it's better to get both sides out? And, I can take criticism on our coverage of it. That's what I expect because it gets a robust debate going. But what's your thoughts on our coverage or any other buddy's coverage?
Well, this is one of the reasons I'm a fan of watching you guys, you and Black Dragon. You tell it like what you see it. Mm-hmm. I'm also been pushing on my own club to we got to get involved and give the other side of that story, because the newspaper's only going to print the part that sells papers.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like it's always pro-police.
Yeah, it is.
And I forgot something very big in income is what we do too is we have a newsletter that goes to all the prisoners in all the prisons called Bikers Behind Bars, and that's to keep everybody of what's going on the street.
Oldie but goodie, man. I remember when that first came out.
It kind of lost its wham there for about a year and a half, and one of my brothers up in North Dakota named Jad picked up that ball and got it all aired back up, and it's working quite well.
Awesome. Now, with the conventions coming up, because I get this all the time, a lot of independents would like to see what a Confederation convention is about. Is the general independent bikers or public open to see what goes on in a Confederation?
Yes, and as of right now, the latest date for it in Indianapolis is going to be October 16th and 17th.
October 16th and 17th.
And it is. It's open. It's open to the public, which it would change a lot of the way you look at different things. There's a lot of people there. And you'll see the different clubs. You'll see them interact. You'll see we're not there to cause any hate and discontent. We're there to see if we can squelch it down the road.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know when I was down in Florida for a little bit, I seen everybody, clubs you would have never thought getting along. They got along. And, the misconception that, nobody gets along, that's bull. You got to really see this for yourself. It's amazing. It opened my eyes big because I actually, when I was in, it was the local. I never went to a national. I was like, my God, this is cool as hell when I got down there.
And that's a concept that caught my attention. Again, years ago they were different. Well, it's a lot easier to hate somebody if you don't see them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
When basically you see that their club is having some of the same issues as yours, it's easier to unite because, hey, you're fighting the same thing.
Right.
In the past, what I've seen, that same loudmouth that doesn't listen, that causes nothing but hate and discontent, when the shit he caused hits the fan, that punk's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to men to stand there and do what men do. Well,
right.
If we eliminate that punk to start with, then we don't have that problem.
Right. Now, Black Dragon's actually going to be there, guys, in October. I believe he got Entertainment of the Year award. So you guys can come up, see him, come see me, come see Boar. We'll have a little meet and greet, but I really hope that you guys come up to this. It's in Indianapolis. It's not a hard ride. It's in October, so it'll be nice fall weather. So I'm really hoping that you guys get out there and see what NCOM's about. And stop believing these damn freaking Leo channels or the law-abiding of club, whatever the hell their cop association is. See it for yourself. See how real it is. Talk to some of these guys. They're approachable. A lot of people worry about going up to a 1%er and talking to them. What do you say to them?
Well, it's right back down to if you come up to a man like a man, you'll be talked to like a man. Mm-hmm. You want to come up act like a fucking idiot, you'll be treated like a fucking idiot.
Right. That's truth right there. That's truth. Because, that's one of the biggest questions. I know Black Dragon, because he talks about the protocol stuff. I like staying away from that stuff, really. He talks about that all the time. And that right there, that's in your face, is how you're supposed to handle it. And I also think those are the type of guys that shouldn't be worrying about a club if you have to worry about something like that.
Exactly. If you're not man enough to walk up to a man, then you're not man enough to be in a club.
Right. Now, Ironhead, one of our, in one of the chat rooms that we're on, he had a question, and because you've been in around 45 years, he says, what's the difference between clubs then compared to now? He also went on to saying back then it was, bare knuckle stuff, and now it seems like, these youngins just want to pull on you.
And that is the big difference. When I was new to this, if someone was bound and determined to have a fist fight, there was a fist fight. And if you pulled a knife or pulled a gun, hey, you were looked down on because you weren't man enough to fucking handle what you threw out.
Right. How are you educating the younger kids on that stuff now?
Well, it's like I laugh on that History Channel thing on my club, where the undercover cat proclaimed he was at a party and was told to go hit this guy. And when he came back, the national VP told him that what a good job. Well, that was me. And what I told him was, look, punk, we don't pull guns around here. Now you go get in your damn tent and you stay there. Mm-hmm. And it was funny because he's sitting on his lap and he says, what kind of gun do you like? And he threw a gun at me and I just let it hit my stomach and land on the ground. And he did that to two other people during his investigation and arrested them later for felon with a firearm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm a firm believer in if it doesn't hurt a thing to throw hands now and then.
Right.
Years ago, my biggest statement was we've had more trouble with pussy and pool tables than we did anything else.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. Another thing I wanted to bring up, because I talked about this before on the air, was, you got them gangland BS crap, but a lot of clubs, they'll kick you to the curb if you're doing something stupid, and a lot of people don't understand that.
Yes. Our club gives anybody a fair shot, but if you do a true fuck up, you get one chance to make it right, and if you can't make it right, you make it gone.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because I think a lot of these initial investigations from cops, and I'm not getting into conspiracy theory here, is because they're thinking 40 years ago when it's not like that. They need something for their damn budget.
And that's exactly how they get their budget. Mm-hmm. Like in Iowa, we never had a gang task force, and until we had an ATF agent come over with the National Guard out of Chicago, and he went around and he got their money together. Mm-hmm. But he was a dumbass, right? That would call you up and threaten you on Monday. I want to put you in prison. Well, I listened to him for 5 years. Call me and tell me what I did that weekend. He's going to put me in prison. Well, his own outfit got rid of him. I'm still on the street.
Right. Well, another thing is a lot of people, because I just can't stand a rat, and I finally, because I usually don't talk personal stuff. But my son was involved in some stuff. Here's a 19-year-old kid. He's been there 3 years now. 59-year-old idiot, a drunk, came up, messed with his girlfriend. Next thing you know, he's not breathing. And there was some other stuff that, other people got involved. And my kid didn't break it. Well, I taught him, you don't talk to cops, nothing like that. Didn't rat on anybody. He just took his 45-year sentence, not ratting, none of that stuff. And I think that's why I get real bad when I hear a story about a rat, because, it hits home. It's personal to me. And it's like, if you're going to, and that's why another thing with the RCs and stuff, if you cannot take a motorcycle club and you're going to go rat on everybody, what kind of man are you? And here I'm sitting back, well, you know what? A 19-year-old kid took 45 years, didn't even open his freaking mouth, and you got guys that are 35, 40 years old running like crybabies.
But you look at the way things have changed too. Like when I came in, the one rule that I was glad that went away was my brother can do no wrong. Mm-hmm. It's back to that same fuck that would cause all the trouble, then run away. We used to take them out of the eye line of John Q. Public, and we would educate them. Mm-hmm. And again, that was the kind of person that caused all the trouble.
Right.
It seems like now, one of the biggest things going on is if they get to go, if they're undercover and they or a rat, they get through the system and then they write a book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pat Matters, the Minneapolis Hells Angel boss, mm-hmm. he wrote a book with the county deputy sheriff that busted him.
Right. Well, I mean, it just amazes me. It just amazes me because some of these guys maybe be looking at 5 to 10, and it's disgusting. If you were in the game, you should have known better. If you want to get all the freaking glamour, all the things that come along with the club, but then how do you turn on a brother? I don't get it. Maybe it's just, because I was raised different, and I can't understand it. And, a lot of these 1%er clubs are getting bad reputations because of a few, not the whole club. Because I know a whole club ain't doing that type of stuff, and I try to put that out there. Hey, it's just the individuals.
Well, I grew up in the Midwest, and just growing up, your dad was slap you alongside the head if you tried to tell on somebody else.
Oh, man, mine would fucking kill me.
Yeah.
It was one of the... Well, see, I came, I'm mostly Italian and stuff. I grew up in an Italian neighborhood, and, the boys were around. That's how FBI, we always call them back in the neighborhood, forever bother Italians. Actually, Baby Girl in the chat room can attest to that. But we were always taught, man, you open your mouth, it ain't going to be a damn good thing that happens to you. So we were taught right compared to these kids these days.
Yes.
So with...
and I'm very happy I did when I did.
Mm-hmm. You grew up in the golden age, man. I wish I was able to grow up in the age you guys did. It seemed a lot simpler back then and a lot more close-knit.
Yes.
That's just my opinion on that. If you guys got any questions in the chat room, let me know. I'll get it while we have, because this is a guest that you guys won't, get any other time. But, like I said, guys, this is the type of guy you just sit there and just shut up and listen to. You're getting rave reviews right now, and so is NCOM. A lot of people are saying on some of the other platforms Are you serious? I learned something today that, hey, it's not about, taking money from people, that they're actually fighting for my rights. I actually got that from somebody on one of the other platforms.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, the A-Bait, I tell you what, I think everybody ought to join A-Bait.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually a lifetime member of Louisiana and Iowa.
Rock on. You see, I'm going to get my Iowa when I'm out there. Go ahead.
This party in Iowa is awesome. I mean, they work all year long to throw a long weekend party.
Mm-hmm. Now, would they be able to meet you if they came up?
That is, it's right back down to, if somebody wants to talk to me like a full-grown man, I am proud of that. But if they have to have a belly full of beer to do it, nah, I'd stay away from me.
I bet, man. The Freedom Rally. Am I pumping up expectations to the audience, or am I kind of right on how that party is?
Well, I think you're a little light on it myself.
I love it. I'm going to have a ball. What kind of stuff am I light on over there? Because I actually been putting together a commercial for the guys.
They throw one of the best A-Bait parties ever. And it's as good every time. And they're okay with people walking around naked. They're okay with, all kinds of different things. Me, if I had a fetish for a sheep, I'd leave it at home,
Rock on. There's going to be a bunch of fireworks there, I'm guessing.
And they're quite well put together.
Right? One of the last things, Boar, now are the public at the convention allowed to sit in on any of the conferences or the educational meetings?
Yes. If you register to be there, you get an armband. You can be in anything there is.
Mm-hmm. Now is how much is it? All that stuff.
I think it's $40 for the. I think it's $40 or $45 for the to register to be there, and then they have what they call the Silver Spoke Award, which is the one that you're going to be talking at.
Right.
I think that's another $40.
Okay. Well, here I just got the question, Boar. I just got it just now. Is can businesses be involved with NCOM? Just got it.
As of right now, we have not done that, but we're looking at changing some of that because it's a not trying to say we're trying to get their money, but a good backing is how you continue to grow and go on. We've been doing this for 35 years. I'd like to see it go on for another 100.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But it's a thing where it's like anything else. It costs money to be there.
Well, if you ever get an associate membership, man, I'll put $500 a year into it for a member for business.
But it's like what I tell a lot of people. It's usually at a fine hotel, and they have a big bar in the middle of it. Okay, if you think you're going to go there just because it has a fine bar, stay home. Come for an education. Mm-hmm. Come to learn something. And the best way to learn something is keep your mouth shut and keep your eye on the prize.
Right, right. One thing that's really resonating with a lot of my audience, because I hear it all the time, can you cover this, cover that, is MPP, the profiling project. And that's where I say, hey, if you're profiled, go get on that site and, fill out the survey and stuff. Is that going to be expanding more, MPP? Do they need, some of the people out there putting, how do I get involved? And do you have to be a club member to help out? Stuff like that I'm getting right now.
No, and actually that is what you get on the website for the National Council of Clubs, and they have that. What the National Council of Clubs has done very well is stay away from having large funds of money, because face it, money is evil, and they want to continue to be doing the right thing for our community.
Right. Jared Cook question, Boar 1%er, do you think that clubs will ever sit down and squash all the beefs and work together?
We've been working on that for years, and there's a lot of clubs that are more receptive to sitting down, but what they won't sit down with is a liar.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're representing the club, you better represent it in the manner that it is and not what you're going to say it is.
Right. That's perfect to hear. Hopefully that answers your question, Jared. We get that all the time. Now, what's the difference between ABATE and there's a thing down in Missouri where it's called something else, Freedom Riders or something, and they got a bill that they're supporting for motorcycle helmets?
Well, that I do know about that in Missouri. That was when one group decided they didn't like the other group, how they were running their ABATE, so they started their own.
Mm-hmm. So it's not affiliated with ABATE at all, then?
But they do have, but that organization is ran like every other state ABATE. It's something worth joining.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Voodoo 69, do you agree unification of clubs is the government's biggest fear?
Well, I don't think it's their biggest, but I know it's one of them, because every time they start to push on it, it's because we are organized, and they're more worried about a lot of our members are ex-military.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I don't understand is clubs are ex-military. They're the most patriotic. Right. The clubs are the most patriotic around.
And again, we start our COC meetings by pledging allegiance to the flag. We don't take that lightly. We're American.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you can get any more American than a biker, man. I really don't. And, all them, me, I got this thing with Vietnam because I believe them boys are some of the rough, World War II, Korea, but I believe the Vietnam era went through something real terrible in this country's history, and how they were treated for their service, how they were treated after, finding out about Agent Orange, and Agent Orange is something that really bugs me. But they did so much for this country, and they come home for something, through something like that, but they still persevered, and they love our country just as, more than, I think, than anybody else.
I agree. And when they were coming home from Vietnam, I did not go. I had a pin in my ankle, and I was 1Y. I had a better chance of being a typist for the Russians than being in the service. I went down to volunteer in '68 and was told that I wasn't fit. Well, I still never figured out where they came up with that. But the fact being is when the Vietnam people are coming home and people would spit on them and this and that, they made my hands full because I knocked a lot of sons of bitches out for disgracing the men that were in uniform.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, you know what? I've had you on over an hour and 5, and I don't want to keep on keeping you, man, because I can talk to you all damn night. Like I said, you know, you taught me a lot of things, man. Let me tell you, and that's why, you know, I change some of the stuff that I do is because, you know, talking through you and learning about NCOM. It's one of the biggest organizations that I'll support hardcore. I'm sold on that stuff. In MRF, you know, you introduced me to that, and, you know, without knowing, you know, I would have never got into MRF, but the work that you guys are doing is just unbelievable, and I hope my audience actually gets off their butt, gets to the convention, and sees the truth, and stop believing all this propaganda by everybody, and see it for themselves. This ain't the way it is. Any last words, Boar?
Yeah, I actually do got one. You know, what you just said is, I would like to see more participation on the road. There's a lot of beautiful places in our country that the only true way to look at it is on the back of a motorcycle. And if you would get out there and actually get caught in the rain, get caught in the snow, be sunburned, and enjoy life, then maybe your opinion might mean something to me. But some of you typewriter tough guys, you know, I guess my terminology, but you can go fuck yourself. But I am a true American biker, and I love the way I grew up, and that's the way I live. That's the way I'm going to die.
Rock and roll, man. That's the only way. Well, I appreciate having you on board. This is, you know, the best show that we've done. People, I hope we're able to learn a lot from you, because I do. And hopefully we can get more participation with NCOM, MRF, ABATE, and get these people into the fight, because I'm one of them guys that say don't bitch if you're not going to get out there and fight for your rights. Don't let everybody else do it for you.
Well, you all have a great night, and I'll see you down the road.
Sounds good, Boar. I really appreciate having you on, buddy.
Thank you very much.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later. And that was Boar 1%er. Let me tell you, man, that was one of the most informative sessions that I've ever had on Motorcycle Madhouse Live. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the show, but we got a special guest coming up on the other side of the show. You know, I got to do a quick commercial break real quick, and then we'll get to that. And if you got any more questions for Boar 1%er, you guys can send them to info@InsaneThrottleBikerNews.com, and I'll get them to you and try to get you an answer to those questions. All those that are donating to the show through chat, I really appreciate that. You guys are killing it, man. You know, right now it's pretty tough with stuff going on. The advertising revenue has been cut off from most of the platforms, so it's you guys that we depend on to keep the show up. You can go to PayPal me at Insane Throttle, well, paypal.me, you know, my fault, all lowercase, guys. But we do have a special guest coming on. We're going to have some fun, is what we're going to do. So I'll be back on the other side. are back. Look at who's in here after a long time of not being around. We got the blonde bombshell, the freaking girl that will tear your head off. Yes, it's China Doll. She is back. You actually got to talk into this damn thing, man. So
I feel popular.
Anyway, hold on. You got to put that down, lean into it there.
Okay.
So how'd you guys like the interview? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. But I'm in kind of the doghouse right now with China Doll. I kind of pulled the stunt the other day while she was at work, and I guess she's pissed off at me still. But I'll let China tell you what I did.
I don't know which time. Oh, was that when you decided you needed air in the tires of the lawnmower and you drove right past the window of the gas station I work in, because I'm an essential worker, I guess, and waved like, and all I could think was Forrest Gump.
Yes, I think your boss is there. They said, what? They've never seen something like that before?
That they have officially now seen everything in this town.
Exotic fitness. Wow, China Doll is a doll. Yeah, but she's a bitch. Anyway. We're going to be bringing China Doll actually out to the A-Bait of Iowa. Yeah, I'm in the doghouse, Ironhead. I'm pretty big in the doghouse. I have no shame. I like having fun. And, I said, you know what? My tractor needs a tire. Needs the air in the tire. So, I drove it about a block, and everybody's looking at me. All the kids were giving me the thumb up, and here I'm just doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And, I went by her, and I, like a retard and shit. So, what are you looking forward to this party?
I am. It's going to be weird. Being on I don't know, a stage with you. I don't know if I can compete with that.
Well, they told me that I get to pour the water on the titties. Yes.
Oh, okay. Can I do it too?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Leland, you're out there, man. Hey, Lee, man, China Doll wants to be able to pour, water on the titties, man, during the wet t-shirt contest. Can we get that done, man? I think you guys will like it, man. I always say she eats a putty better than me, but anyway, I mean,
I can't partake because I'm a CEO and founder of the Little Titty Committee, so that wouldn't work out well, but I can kind of help out in a way.
Hollywood was your rubber limping. Yeah, it was on the left side, man. So, I drove it up there. The cops were looking at me funny. The cops kind of have an issue with me in this town. They really do. I guess it's because, what was it I said to them?
You called them Barney Five.
Yeah, I don't get along with cops too good, they can't, see, I moved from Chicago, small, big town, Lee says, hell yeah, you get to pour the water on the titties.
Yay!
But, coming from Chicago, then you come to a small town, it's like, dude, you all freaking, you Gomer Piles around here, and so I don't, it happens. Voodoo little titties rule. She don't got little titties, man, she got like mosquito bites, but that's just me saying that. But hopefully you guys really enjoyed the show today, and it's nice actually having China Doll here for a couple minutes. Say hi to you guys, and she's working a lot all the time, but she's going to be doing a lot of the events with me this year. So if you want to come to the events, and you know what, this A-Bait of Iowa, man, you guys gotta get up and get over there and see this party. You're talking an old school damn party happening in Iowa, and the Freedom Fest or Freedom Rally is one of the best, and you heard it from Boar, 1%er from the Suns, that this is one of them big ones, man. If you got a sheep fetish, you need to leave it at home when you go to this party. You gotta leave it, you gotta leave that. You gotta leave it, and you know what? Also leave your Indian cousin. Oh, I don't know what you're doing. Yeah, they like sheep, so you gotta keep them away. So it's gonna be one of them type of parties, but you'll be able to see China Doll there. She'll be doing another one. She's actually helping me out because we're doing a lot of production videos. She was actually the camera woman during the Moose Riders one, and we're going to be, really highlighting a lot of different organizations. We got a production video on the way as soon as this coronavirus actually ceases. I'm going to be doing an in-person interview with the Chicago Confederation of Clubs. That way you can see that. Let's see here. Leland says, China Doll, you do morning Bloody Marys. I make them at the beer bin every morning at the rally.
I'm more of a whiskey girl or a vodka and lemonade.
Yeah, she drinks whiskey. You know what? One of these days...
Fireball!
Or Fireball.
Woo!
I got a picture of her just laid out drunk. Laid out drunk. And it's funny as hell, man. You'll see that picture. I'll bring it up, man. You know what? I'll bring up a lot of pictures of her that really freaking make you laugh. Ironhead, anything like an AOA skag party. Actually, Ironhead, multiply that by 1,000, and that's what I think this ABAY party is. Like I said, man, these are old school parties. It's in the woods. It ain't like Sturgis. It ain't like Daytona. This is some hardcore biker partying, man, and you gotta be there for this kind of stuff. Anything else you gotta say, China Doll, instead of just hanging on me and stuff?
Oh. Yeah, everybody needs to wash your hands. Play safe.
And if you're a stripper on a stripper pole, man, you got to get in a garbage bag, all that kind of stuff. Voodoo, China Doll has me in heat. Yeah, it happens. It happens. 63 watching, 28 likes. Hit the button, rock on. Fireball has formaldehyde in it. Yeah, she's kind of crazy with that damn Fireball stuff. She goes wacky. Just don't get her on freaking weed. See, I'm a 420 smoker, but you get her on weed, she starts, using terms from the 1970s. I was driving and she seen a damn cop, and what do you have to say?
Oh my God, it's the fuzz.
She can't take her 420, that good. It's hilarious.
I was just trying to get a cheeseburger at McDonald's.
With me, it's either Dream or freaking White Widow or something like that. I get pretty funny when I'm high. You don't want to be around me when I'm high. I'm one of them type that actually I'll burn on you all night. I'll look at you and I'll get you all night, man. She don't like being around me when I'm high, because I'm always making fun of her. I'm a happy high guy, man. It's like Cheech and Chong.
You're not just making fun of me, you make fun of everybody.
Yeah, I do. Hell yeah, Roy boy.
And when it's not at my expense, I find it funny.
Rock on. Well, cool. I'm going to release China Doll here, close out the show. I'm going to take some questions from everybody, so get them questions ready. But here's China Doll. Come out, see her at ABAY Freedom Run. You'll see a lot of stuff going on. So she'll be my camera woman. I'll get her on the show a lot more. I didn't prepare tonight with another chair in here in the studio because I had the interview with Boar. But I'm going to let her go, and I'll get right back with your questions. See ya. Get out of here.
What if I don't want to leave?
Bye-bye.
Oh, fine. You're boring.
Anyway, if you guys got any questions, let me know what you guys got. If not, I'll be closing out the show. Don't forget to go over, check out our other platforms and stuff like that. You guys have been great with all the chat revenue, and as well as the donations we get through PayPal. Been awesome. With that, guys, if there ain't no questions, get them in, man, because I'm going to be freaking closing this sucker down. I'm already 20 minutes off my paid time here. Come on, man. A man has to go smoke something. If you guys, your show is the sheesh. Love it. Thanks, George. I thank everybody in the chat rooms. You guys are awesome. Thanks, guys, for all the good how's the no color bars piece going? It is going good with the production videos. The coronavirus stuff. I do got one shot already. I got to get out there and get more shots. But with this virus thing going on, everybody's on lockdown here in Illinois for 30 days. It's like it is out everywhere else. It's really been freaking tough, man. I guess we hit what was it, 5,000 already, 100, it's 1 million worldwide. It's time to take it serious, guys. That's all I'm going to talk about on that. But it's going good, Voodoo. We're really hitting it down. But going to say Hollywood, have a good night, everyone. Stay healthy. Yeah, I gotta agree on that, Ironhead. We're gonna close up the show next Thursday. Be on the lookout every Thursday, Motorcycle Madhouse. You got Spotify, iTunes, HarleyLiberty.com for all your biker news. Get on over there. Check it out, our Facebook and Instagram. You guys do know I do a little Instagram, Madhouse Shorts over there, so check it out. Till then, I'll talk to you guys later. Keep good.